And welcome back, Worldwide Wolves. We've got actual NBA games to talk about. I'm here, Cooper Carlson and Jake Painting from Howls and Growls YouTube channel. And before we get into the topic of today's episode, just Jake, your thoughts on this season. I guess give me a broad overview. What do you think through two games before we get real specific?
Yeah, it's been a little bit weird, hasn't it? It's been kind of the first game was mostly down and then really up to finish it, and that was cool and fun. And then obviously the Lakers game was all down. So it's been a little bit of a tumultuous start to the season. I don't think we're going to hit the panic button just yet, but it'll be good to talk through a few things and kind of get, kind of unscramble our brains because it has been a bit of a brain scrambling start, I think.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember. There was one of us out of the two of us that thought Bones Highland might be in the rotation. I can't remember which one of us that was.
Well, I was thinking that yesterday as well, because we obviously both predicted the Wolves to win both games as well.
Yep.
But then we were kind of like, well, which one do you think, could be a loss if it would be? And you did say the Lakers. So
did I? Okay.
Yeah, you said the Lakers, I said the Blazers, and both of them were almost, we weren't wrong kind of on both of them, but yeah, the Lakers. So we're 1-1, and yeah, we got a big week. What were we just saying? 4 games until until next weekend when we can record a full episode. So it's the games are coming thick and fast, and the season's definitely here.
Yeah, and I guess I kind of rushed that intro, but yeah, it's a flu game a bit for me today. We're gonna push through. It's gonna be a good time, but yeah, it should be good stuff. It's our first, ever recording since we last talked. We used to have a podcast together, kind of, but first actual games to talk about. Should be interesting, and we're just gonna kind of do some. Is it too early to say blank about the season? So should be fun. Should be interesting, and I'm gonna throw it to you to start. Just hit me with your first. Is it too early to say this about this Minnesota Timberwolves team?
All right, I'm going to start positive because I think we'll probably skew slightly negative because I think if it, if you had to lean one way for the start of the season, it's probably been more negative than positive. Is it too early to say that Anthony Edwards is just like, one of the best 4 or 5? I don't know, like putting the number on it, but he's taken his game to another level, because it does seem in these first 2 games, which both of them felt like games where, he could have kind of let go of the rope. The team wasn't really there helping him. It was the kind of game where you can almost excuse a player for just kind of slipping into obscurity as the team clearly tries to figure some things out. So yeah, I guess, but he hasn't. Like, he's been awesome in both games. Even in the Lakers game, I think he was a little bit quiet in the middle of the game, but I thought, pretty obviously the best player for Minnesota on the court. So, is it too early to say this is normal? This is just the Anthony Edwards we're going to get. Maybe not averaging 36 points a game or whatever he's at right now, but that 30 points, controlling the offense, pretty much playing point guard every minute he's on the floor, and not doing it badly. Is this the end we can expect?
Yeah, I think if you were to quantify it, it would be, is it too early to say Anthony Edwards could average 30 a game? Because, he's hasn't reached that mark. And I think he's going to have to, if this Wolves team wants to kind of hit that 50-win mark after seeing these first couple of games. We don't know for sure. But yeah, is it too? No, I think Anthony Edwards, like, it also depends on what you expected from him coming in. I think we both expected a bigger leap, but it also, you got to look at this offense and just how it looks in general through the first couple games and think, can Ant carry such a huge load if others around him also just like aren't performing? Because, teams are going to be able to load up on Ant even more. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes as the season progresses. Hopefully players can step up, but I would say no. I think Anthony Edwards is set to take that leap and potentially average that 30 points per game. The MVP conversations that we had before the year, I don't know if I want to say it's a possibility, but at the same time, I don't know if this team is going to be consistent enough for him to do that. Like, it's not just a player award. Like, your team also has to be really good. And I don't know. I'm curious to see how this season progresses with Anthony Edwards in that MVP talk, because
Yeah,
he's on that same level, but it's just gonna be tough with the team, I think.
Yeah, I think there's two separate things with the MVP stuff. It's like, is he providing the value to this team that's commensurate with, Wemby or Luka or Jokic? I think the answer is yes to that. Like, I think that if
Fair.
you took Ant out of the team, the drop off would be similar to if you took Jokic out of Denver or Giannis out of Milwaukee, like that. But the other part of it is like, is he just the same level of player, kind of stats wise and like impact on winning wise? Whereas like, he can get way better this season and still not be as good as Nikola Jokic or Wemby, who's like clearly just the most freakish basketball player that's ever lived, like, so that's why I feel like it's a weird yardstick to use the MVP, because like there's a lot of really great players in the league. Like we just saw Luka last night, and like I said in our preview episode, like he's a genius. He's just a basketball genius. Like obviously he's disliked, he's unlikable. It's hard to watch, especially when he's doing it to your team, but some of the passes he threw, like let alone the 50 points, which was just like genuinely unstoppable. Like they just threw every coverage at him. I thought they were the game plan was a bit dumb to begin the game, but they did cycle through every single defensive coverage and he just ruined them all. But some of the passes he threw, like he's insane. So it's a high bar to get to MVP, clearly better than those guys. So like you said, it does depend a lot on how many games your team wins. But if we're talking impact on the team, I just think that Ant right now, like these first two games, has looked on another level. His usage is up. His points per shot is way up. His assist percentage is up, and his turnover percentage is down. Like if you told us that before the season, it would, that's ticking every box. So yeah, it's I think the Ant thing is kind of feels real. And also, I'm sorry if you can hear any noises. It is pissing down outside. I don't know if that's a phrase you use over there, but it is raining heavily.
Yeah, I guess I figured what you meant at least, so that works. Yeah, on Luka, because he's in that same conversation. I guess I want to talk or just touch on the defense that the Wolves did play on him while we're talking about some MVP stuff. Mm-hmm. When he's on. Like the Wolves just can't, they're not going to stop him. But it's a thing where you mentioned it last week, where if Luka's going off, hopefully he scores 60 and you can hold the rest of the team kind of quiet. But the Wolves all around seem to melt down as Luka just took over all game long. When he was scoring, the Wolves couldn't do anything about it. When they started doubling up on him, he found an open player every single time, like not just slightly open, wide open. So I guess from your point of view, what could the Wolves have done differently that they didn't try, or just that they did try and didn't execute? Because nothing was working on Luka. Is there anything that you think could work?
Yeah, like you said, there is an element that when he's on like that, he's just on. Like I think we sometimes forget that we see that as well. Like Anthony Edwards faces some crazy defensive coverages, and there's nights where he scores 45, so that can happen. I think the game plan mistakes and the game plan in general, I think, were probably both similarly bad last night. Like they started the game just playing drop coverage, going under screens. I think Finch said after the game, shout out to Dane Moore, who's the only one who has Finch post games now. But I think Finch said their plan wasn't to go under screens at all. So I guess that's a game plan mistake, because Jaden was going under screens, Ant was going under screens.
Dude, they were doing it all game, and
which was just insanity. And I get that they want to drop under because obviously it gives you an easier path to meet him if he tries to drive. And Luke is so deadly if he can get inside the arc, get his shoulder into guys, find buckets that way or find passes. But that gave him open threes, and then that kind of the snowball effect started when he was just nailing open threes, like those step back kind of pull up jumpers. His bread and butter when he gets going. So then they cycled through it. They tried to push Rudy up a little bit higher. I still think he didn't come up high enough. It was still like a shallow drop and not a blitz. That didn't work because he would either just shoot a three still, or he would kind of, they'd end up late switching and it'd be Gobert on him, or it'd be Naz or Randall or whoever, like the Lakers were really good at just bringing different guys to screen Luka. Like, he was just hunting people all game. Conley came on the court, and 2 possessions in a row, his player came and screened for Luka, switch, bucket, and one. Like, and then eventually, I still think the best plan against this Lakers team was to just blitz him, like just get the ball out of his hands, and he's going to throw a bunch of sick passes. Like, it's just like he's a great player. But I'd still think that you just have to kind of live with, like, let's get better at rotating behind this blitz. And they were bad at it. Like, Ant had a few bad possessions. Randall had multiple bad possessions on the backside. Naz was obviously terrible for the game on both ends. So, but I still think I would have preferred them to try and get better at that during the game than to just be like, let's go back to drop, or let's go back to soft switches. So yeah, it's hard because I think he was just on one. Like, it just felt like at some point, and I don't know if that was because they started with a bad game plan, bad execution, and they let him get going, or maybe that they should have, if they're going to stick with that, maybe they should have let him shoot another 15 threes. Like, because it ended up like they just didn't know what they wanted to do. Were they letting him shoot threes? Were they letting him switch? Like, it just felt like he was dictating the defense. So, yeah, it was kind of over. It felt like you're walking a tightrope when Luka has 20 points in the first quarter, and and when he goes off the court, you're losing those minutes. That was kind of what killed them.
Yeah, so it goes past just defending Luka, and they play the Lakers again this week, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's slowed down at all. Yeah, looking forward to that one. We're gonna move on to the next one, but I want to ask, do you have one centering around like Gobert and Conley? Just because I have a different one, but that's the elephant in the room here.
Yeah, kinda. Well, you go then, because I've got thoughts on it, but I don't know how to kind of make that a topic. So if you've got a topic for me, hit me.
Well, I just know we're gonna get to that one, so I figure because then that might take forever. So I'm gonna go with this one. Is it too early to be a little bit worried here about Naz Reed? He's being paid 5 years, $125 million. Through 2 games, he has 11 points total, and his defense is still Naz Reed. It does not look good. He looked lost all game last night, getting matched up on Austin Reeves a few times. Not great. I don't think I do think it's too early to be like disappointed or like worried about Naz Reed, but the question has to be asked, can he be consistent enough to warrant the money he's now going to be paid and the role that Wolves need him to fill? Obviously, the last couple of years, he's filled that role quite well, but now as Rudy Gobert in that starting center position, looks like he may be taking a step back, and Naz Reed is the second best big on this team, depending on where you slot Julius Randle, I suppose. But, he's the backup center effectively, and he's the 6th man for sure. So through 2 games, 11 points simply will not cut it, and defensively still looks lost. So I'm wondering, what do we expect from Naz Reed going forward here? He's got to bounce back quickly. Do we think he does? Like, what are you seeing from Naz that may have you worried or not so worried?
Yeah, well, I think we need to start with that. He obviously had like a very serious personal tragedy in the off season, so that's why I want to give him a little bit of grace, because like, we don't know how he's dealing with that. It was obviously super recent for something like that to happen. The reason I bring that up is because, like, we've seen Naz Reed be bad on defense. Like, he was bad in the playoffs. He's been bad before. He's probably only had one good defensive season in his career. I would say these first 2 games are like on a different level even to that. I thought last night, I was kind of, I've got clips here from, because I'm going to do a defense video at some point. I have 17 clips that I would class as egregiously bad from the first 2 games. And I'm not going to put in he closes out and a guy kind of goes around him and he's right there and they get a tough bucket. Like, these are like, video clips, clips of possessions that I would say are notably bad. And 17 in 2 games is crazy. And in that Lakers game, I would go as far as to say that his defense was the main reason they lost. Both of his stints in the first half and second half, LA went on massive runs as soon as he was in the game, because he was just making mental mistakes, like game plan mistakes, mental mistakes, normal kind of, can't stay in front of guys mistakes. They're currently 19 points per 100 possessions better when he's off the court defensively. Obviously, tiny sample size there, but so that's kind of what makes me feel like he's just not really there. I mean, the offense is obvious too. Like, he doesn't seem to know kind of what his role is. He's not Naz Reed offensively.
He's played 19 and then 21 minutes in the first 2 games, and he played like 28 per game last year. So
but those minutes, like last night, especially against LA, he shouldn't have even played that many. But I feel like they're also in that position where you can't just bench Naz Reed. Like, you can't pay him $25 million and bench him 2 games into the season because he's not playing well. So you kind of need to help him work through it, and that's going to still be a thing. I mean, we've seen guys who are worse than Naz Reed get longer leashes. So, I don't know. I want to be mindful of the fact that he's probably
very fair.
And because it looks so much worse than usual, it doesn't feel like just bad Naz games. It feels like out of the ordinary bad Naz games, if that makes sense. Like, it's not just
I mean, for sure, he's got 11 points. Yeah,
Naz is inconsistent always, but this feels like more than just inconsistency. So I think I want to give him a grace period, probably more than I want to give some other players on the roster right now.
Yeah, I mean, completely fair. I've got no qualms with that. It's just it's interesting because he's
it's notable. At the end of the day, we can acknowledge that and then still acknowledge that he's been really bad, and it's hurting the team because they rely on him to be what he usually is.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely a player I wanted to touch on, and I'll throw it to, I mean, we can kind of patch this next one together if you just want to do Conley and Gobert together, kind of. Because
we should do them together, but I also think that they are still different entities in terms of like the problems that they're causing.
Yes. Okay, let's do Conley. Let's start with Conley. So he's not starting. That was actually pretty surprising to me. That's actually like it's a good thing, right? Because he's obviously lost a step, but it's bad because all of training camp, in the Brett interview, everything was like Conley's going to start. So they must have got to training camp and everything, and Conley must have just looked like really bad, man, to a point where Finch, who loves Mike, will die for Mike Conley, was like, I genuinely cannot start Mike Conley. And Dante is not it's a better option, but it's not the greatest option. And Conley, man, he is not looking good at all as like the 8th man off the bench right now. I mean, we went over it all off season, just the game inside the 3-point line. It's worse than I could have imagined. He's slow. I mean, is he doing much well besides being like a quarterback out there? Maybe I'm not seeing it, but
I don't think he's even. I don't even think he's doing that well. Like,
I just give him the grace on that, I guess. But like, ugh.
Yeah, like I think, like I said, maybe last episode, I actually thought coming into the season the best thing that Conley did was play defense. Like, he was always going to be small, and you can target him kind of on a switch, but like, he was still a great chase defender. He was still smart. He always did the right thing, and then he might get done in the end because he's too small. But yeah, he hasn't been good in any area, and he looks super duper washed, which is like concerning because last season I think we were, lower on him maybe than other people, and or some people might have been lower than us, but like, I think it was more like, I think Mike Conley might be washed, like, I think it's time to reduce his minutes. You can still kind of get something out of him, but we need to be careful with what we're doing with Conley and not over relying on him. And the first 2 games, it's like, oh, he can't play anymore. Like, he can't move. He looks like he's running in porridge, like even to me, who has not been a Mike Conley believer, I've been on the soapbox that he shouldn't start, and that if you kind of, dropped his minutes to 10 minutes a game, I think it would help the team. Even for me at that level, I'm like, whoa, what's this? Like, he's turned it over on 27.5% of his possessions so far. So more than 1 every 4. He's made 1 shot. He's scoring 0.3 points per shot.
We thought he'd play like 20 minutes per game, just be like, and that was us being a little bit like, maybe that's too low. He's got 9 minutes and then 12 minutes, man. Like,
again, the situation is weird because it's like, if he's washed, like, why did we not come to this, come to Jesus' moment 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. Like, why did it take till 6, 4, 5 hours before the first game of the season? That it just seems like that kind of up. Like, I'm almost at the point where I'm like, would it have been better to just start him and just phase him out? You know what I mean? Like, as the season wore on, like, why did it kind of feels like they threw this spanner into the mix randomly. And I know it's not random, and I know they have their decisions, and we're not in these rooms making these decisions. But it does, from the outside, it feels like this whole continuity thing just like didn't work. It's like they just scrapped it.
Yeah,
hours before the season.
It's weird because he's washed, like he is watching him, but like he's also, while he's washed, adjusting to a role that he hasn't played consistently since 2008. Dude, he has started like every game since like last year. He had a handful coming back from injury where he came off the bench, but if you go look at his basketball reference, it's games started in games, and it's the exact same thing for like 20 years. And this year it's just like I get it makes the most sense, but you spent the offseason and training camp and preseason being like he's starting. So adjusting the role and him also being really bad in that role is weird, and it's not good. And especially after an offseason where everyone was like, your biggest hole might be at this position, and they were
exactly
like, I don't know. We got
and I think that's what people are frustrated with, is that like we could see this train coming. And we just and they were like, what's the best thing to do is to stand on the tracks and just wait because it won't hit us. And then, 4 hours before the first game, it hit them. Like, and then it was like, okay, I'm talking out both sides of my mouth here, because we both advocated for Conley not to start or for them to do something.
Yeah.
I agree with, and I respect that Finch was like, we need to kind of cut this cord before it, hangs us. But it just felt weird. It felt rushed. It feels like Conley wasn't ready for it and doesn't know what to do in it. Like, he didn't get 3 or 4 preseason games to adjust to this role. It seems like Dante doesn't know what the hell's going on either. Like, and he's not a point guard already, so that's makes it a bit weirder. And then, like, frankly, Bones Highland has been their best point guard. Like, I don't even think it's debatable. Like, and that's a low bar, but like statistically, kind of watching it just like it's almost like if he was starting the next game, I wouldn't be shocked by that. I would kind of be like, yeah, well, Dante's not a point guard. He makes him worse playing. Like, I thought they were going to go full Ant point guard, full Ant Randall.
Yeah.
And game 1, it was like, no, Dante's the point guard.
I could not believe it. Yeah.
And I think it was a little bit better in the second game. We didn't really get to see the fruits of it because what happens when you play a real defense again, though? Like, the Lakers they're not. They're just, they don't have nearly what Portland had. And, Portland's going to be top 5 to 10 in defense, but it's still, they're going to be a bottom 10 team in the league. So, like, what happens when you play a legitimately, like, good defense, good team overall? And Indiana are going to be, they might top 5 defense, but they're going to play in that same kind of way tomorrow when we're recording this. So, I don't know. I don't know how to fix that problem. Like, it's obviously a problem.
Here's the thing about it. They drafted a guy 9th overall 2 years ago who cannot touch the floor. I'm not advocating for Rob. I've been all summer like, this isn't going to work. But
I will stand, apart from that and say Rob should be playing. Like,
I guess I'm saying, like, I don't think he's like the long-term answer maybe, but like,
exactly.
I would advocate for just at least seeing it, man, because they're not playing a point guard.
And I fully get Finch sees him every day. You know what I mean? Like that.
Right.
And I think it is, we can sit here and say Rob needs to play, but like, we don't know more about Rob Dillingham than Chris Finch. But also, I just don't know. Like, I think I need to see it be worse than it is before I can be like, okay, fair enough. Like, put Rob back on the bench. Like, I think I need to see Rob have 6 turnovers and shoot 2 of 14 against Indiana, because I just feel like trying to ground out the last kind of morsels of Mike Conley is not good for now. It's not good for the future. It makes no difference to whether this team is good or bad, this season.
How can Rob possibly be worse?
And I'll say this. I think I said this maybe in the first episode, and there were some people who disagreed. This is the reason Rob should have played last season. I said it all season, is the reason he should be playing is because we're going to need him next season. Like the Wolves are going to need to know either that he's good enough to play minutes or that he's not good enough at all to even be an option. You know what I mean? Like, and then they could have they would have really known in the offseason that, look, we don't have any point guards at all. I think they went into the offseason thinking, well, we've still got Rob Dillingham. He's this mystery box still. We want him to take this leap over the summer. And that was all fair enough to think. If Rob had have played 12 minutes a game last season on a team who had really bad point guard play, they would have known if he was terrible, if there was just no hope for him. Or, when he had those 2 14-point games in a row against good teams and he didn't play for 2 months after that, they might have, he might have been a promising player. Like, that made sense. I just think that and honestly, it's going to feel the same, I think, with Berenjay. Because at some point, and it's the same thing where it's like, I didn't expect Rob to be good last season. I didn't want him to play because I thought he'd be good. I wanted him to play because I think he needed, and the franchise needed, that archetype of player to be good on the team. Yeah. I don't know how long, this is a side point, but I don't know how long they can not play a tall guy in the backup. Like,
okay. Chris Finch he's like objectively a good coach, like a really good coach. Everyone you talk to in the organization will be like, he's the greatest coach we've ever seen. He's great. He coaches on we're going to win this game no matter what it takes. Like, this game is all that matters right now. And that's why I think Berenjay might get into the rotation quicker than Rob did. True.
Because I think Rob was kind of a definite future play
project.
Like you're playing him because he's not going to be that good right now, but he might be good in 3 years. Whereas Berenjay, I'm like, I think just being tall might help the team. Like having one more.
He's so fast and he's good. He's not just he's good, man. Like, I haven't seen anything yet.
The Randall and Naz minutes, and I don't know exactly how many there are, but there's a few. It's every time that Gobert's not on the court, have a 150 defensive rating so far, which would be the worst in NBA history by about 30 points. And obviously,
but the offensive rating is probably really good.
Well, yeah, I think it's quite bad because of Naz. But the problem with them is usually, like Naz, they're good on offense. You switch styles.
Yeah, they can play a chaotic defense if nothing else.
Yeah. And you can they're bad on offense and good on. They're bad on defense and good on offense usually. Right now, they don't have the offensive punch, so it seems worse. But I don't know. I just feel like it's the same as they're the two problems. The point guard position and the non-Rudy kind of big man position is there's no stylistic fix that makes a point guard appear out of nowhere. That makes Donte DiVincenzo a point guard, and there's no stylistic fix that makes Naz Reed or Julius Randle not 6'9". And I think Randle's been pretty good defensively this season for his kind of usual standard. But he's small. He's small for a 5. Naz is small for a 5 and not good defensively. I just think I think in the next month, if they're not improved defensively, those non-Rudy minutes, I think Berenjay will be in the rotation.
Do you think even if they do improve, he could be in the rotation as well for any reason?
Not really, because I think the problem with it is that Naz, Rudy, and Randall have to play. That's what makes him a weird. I understand why Finch doesn't play him. I'm not saying why aren't you playing.
It's different than Rob for sure.
It's different than Rob because there is players there's 3 big men that need to play, and I don't think Naz is a 3. Maybe that's something they would have to try if they wanted to get Berenjay in there for some size, but. Maybe all of them play 4 less minutes or 3 less minutes a game, and that's how you get another guy in there. Maybe you just take out, maybe you take out Mike, you put in Berenjay, and you can sort out the versatility within those lineups. Give him all of Mike's minutes, and
figure
there's a lot. Yeah, figure it out. But I don't know how they do it. But I don't know. I'm watching these non-Rudy minutes, and the Rudy minutes, we can go.
Yeah, I'm itching to bring up Rudy here.
Yeah, Rudy, let me get off one stat because I think this is just Rudy Gobert in a nutshell. It's always been Gobert. So right now, the Wolves are 11 points per 100 possessions better when Gobert's on the court. That doesn't feel right because they are 16.2 points per 100 worse offensively when he's on the court, which is staggeringly bad. And they are 27 points per 100 better defensively when he's on the court. Like, it's just we're getting the full Rudy spectrum where they just can't play offense when he's on the court. They can't play defense when he's off the court. So you have to find, like, that's a Rudy, Randall, Naz problem, all of them together. You have to find someone who can either defend enough to, give Rudy less minutes when he's terrible, or someone who can, I don't know, play offense enough to defend and play offense enough to get him out of the line. I don't know what it is. Gobert, they're 11 points better. Like, he's a massive, he's a massive plus on the team right now. It's him, Randall, Edwards, and then Daylight.
It's weird, man. I mean, watching Rudy, the eye test definitely says otherwise. But
yeah, well, you can't because they are so bad defensively, and it's like when he goes off the court, they are so bad. They are 150 defensive rating. It's like, the worst in Minnesota team history is like 116. And that's one of the worst teams ever. Like, I don't know.
That can't continue. Like, objectively,
that's a small sample size.
Yeah, but I mean, can they get it down to one? Well, like, oh my god, that's 150 is like, you're hoping, if you could drop that by 20 points, but then it's still the worst of all time. Like, it's
exactly, that's the problem. Is like it can get way better from that and still be terrible.
Yeah.
So like, that's
what a team.
This is all very negative, and their offensive rating being. I mean, actually, let me kind of recant on what I said earlier. Their offensive rating, the Naz Randall minutes is 146. So they're 100th percentile. They're 100th percentile offense and a 0th percentile defense. So it is we're getting the full spectrum right now.
I'm looking for word. It's predictable. Like, we saw this coming, but it's so on each spectrum that it's unbelievable. Like, it will come back. Yeah.
It will come back to the middle. Like, when Gobert's on, you get 44th percentile offense and a 28th percentile defense. So the defense is still bad when he's out there. It's just way better. And that's been the problem, is that no one's quite hitting their like middle level. Gobert's not been good enough defensively to be like, well, they're so good defensively, it doesn't matter that his offense is bad. Naz and Randall are not hitting the level defensively where they're like, yeah, the offense is good and the defense is bad, but we can kind of survive it because the defense is so bad. Like, so yeah, I just feel like this might just be a small sample. Like, I mean, it definitely is a small sample size thing. It's not going to stay like that.
It still speaks to the stylistic play of the Wolves, though. Like,
yeah,
we're using like the numbers as just,
It's they're kind of hitting their expectations to the extreme at the moment,
right? Which
is they need to figure out how to not be so extreme.
So with Rudy, the numbers are at least, the 28th percentile is worse than I would have expected, but still, like, the numbers are okay in terms of those. But he's got 7 rebounds as a season high. He had 6 in game 1, 7 in game 2. He looks slower. He looks just not jumping as high. Like, he just doesn't look great on either side of the floor right now. Offensively, he's still dropping everything. He's just never going to improve. He was practicing all offseason to catch the ball and shoot the ball and get this touch. Like, I can't hear it anymore. All right. He's just never going to do anything. But defensively, does he look the same to you as a shot blocker and a rebounder? Because to me, it's just not really close to what I was hoping to see at this point. Maybe it's just me, not looking at the right things, but man, he looks a step and a half slower than what I expected, I think.
Yeah, he looked similar to me. I kind of thought that about him last season. Like, I just thought and maybe he looks a step slower than that, but I thought the rebounding and the shot blocking has been the things that are declining, because he's always going to be really smart defensively. Like,
right.
The reason why they can still be a much better defense when he's on the court is because, like, he just knows where to be all the time. I don't think Gobert ever gets caught out of position. He more just gets caught like, now he can't jump and block this shot anymore. like guys will attack him a little bit more. He'll foul a little bit more.
It seems like he plays like he thinks he still can, if that makes sense. Like he'll wait for a guy to put up a layup sometimes and like try to go block it. It's like it's not actually your game anymore. It's just he might think he still has that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah, the main thing that's always frustrated me the most about Rudy is his main priority, and it's not a bad thing, I guess, but like he will always play the percentages defensively. And I mean, that's not a bad thing at all. That's why he's such a great defender. He will give up an open floater. He will give up an open layup if it means that or a semi-contested layup to Austin Reeves if it means he's not going to throw a lob over Gobert to Ayton. I've got about 4 or 5 clips from the first 2 games where it's like he just falls off the driver to go back and make sure no one gets a shot at the rim. And it's not that someone's behind him. Those times it makes sense. Like you'd rather give Drew Holiday a floater than Donovan Clingan a lob dunk. But there was one against the Lakers where he just stands next to Reeves the entire drive and there's no one behind him, but he thinks there might be someone behind me. Those, I think when he was younger and more athletic, he would trust himself to deter the shot and recover if he had to, I
think that's the exact one I was thinking about.
And now his worry is I can't let my man get a dunk behind me, and a lot of the times that's the right thing, but when it's not, it's kind of loud and frustrating to watch. I just think the defense with Gobert, I think the options behind him are so bad right now that I want him, if we're talking how do we get stops, I want Gobert on the court. The problem for me is always the offense. They just can't play offense when he's on the court. He's just you can say other things, whether Ant does this or Mike or the problem will always be Gobert to me. As in, if you take Gobert out of any lineup they ever play, they're always really good offensively. Gobert's the reason they're not a great offense. If they're not going to be, when they've been good offenses, it's because it's been commendable because they've done it despite having Gobert there as well. I give Ant so much more credit because Gobert is just in his way all of the time. So yeah, it's kind of I don't know. It's always been the problem is that they can't play offense when he's out there. They can't play defense when he's not. I think I made a huge video on this last season. I think that's just the Wolves. That's the biggest thing for this team. And they can't get away from it until they find a player who can do more of both.
If only there was one on the bench. No, just kidding.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing is I think Finch is probably worried that you might get a tiny bit better offensively and a tiny bit worse defense. You're not bringing it close enough to the middle with Baron J yet. And I think you might be right.
Sub one in, take Rudy out. It's
there you go. Baron J is probably going to be in the way a lot as well. He might catch more.
He's not going to be nearly as smart. He'll be faster and quicker and all that, but
and he will be worse defensively, probably much worse. But he will. And we're talking about the non-Rudy minutes. That makes sense to me, but replacing Rudy, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep, or Finch. How much of it do you think is maybe with the disparity of maybe good offense and then bad defense? Stylistic changes in, say, pace of play with the offense, because they seem to be pushing the ball more for sure. They're still 22nd in pace, but still they are. I think they were quite worse than that last year. So they're making it an emphasis to push the ball forward on offense, and maybe that leaks into the defense not being able to get back. They've never exactly been the greatest team at getting back on defense anyway, and now they're sprinting down the court on offense a bit more, especially Jaden McDaniels. So I guess, I like that they're doing that on offense, but I wonder if it's leaking and making their transition defense somehow even worse. Because it's always been a weak point. And I like that they're running. I want to see it continue, but it's an adjustment from what this team has done the last couple of years, especially for the key contributors on defense like Jaden McDaniels. So, give and take.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with your thoughts there that I'm kind of in the same boat where I'm I don't know. I think I just need to see a little bit more evidence either way. I like the idea of trying to run a bit more. I don't like the idea of spending the off season kind of working. I mean, and I don't know what they're doing in preseason training camp, but I feel like other teams kind of they found what they do really well and just hammered that. Whereas I feel like the Wolves, the messaging from the coaches, from the players was like they spent a lot of time working on what they don't do well. And I get that. Obviously, you can't have major flaws, but I like sharpening the weapons, like it feels like they kind of like I don't know what they do well. And that's not
I was literally about to ask you, what do the Wolves do well? Okay.
I think they do a lot of things good.
Yeah. Well, they have Anthony Edwards who does things well.
But what do they do great? That's was my issue. I said that last week before the games had started. Like, what do they do great? And why were they working on
transition? Well, they want it to be defense.
And they want it to be defense, but they don't have the players to do it.
Exactly. Like, it's so weird, man.
They had a 40-year-old, 38-year-old point guard in the starting lineup. They took him out. For DiVincenzo is not a good defender either. Like, he's a chaos creator, but he's not like, a great defender. Jalen Clark, even last night, I know he had 4 fouls against the Lakers. Why did he play 13 minutes? Like, let him foul out.
Right.
You cannot get a stop. They just had the highest offensive rating against the Chris Finch team in like 3 years or something. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he should play more than 13 minutes in that game. Him and Jaden have played 6 minutes together all season. Like, so you can't tell me it's defense. And I think that's foul trouble related, maybe slightly. Like, they've both been in foul trouble.
Right, that makes sense.
I think Jaden's been in foul trouble both games. So that
would be a bad thing to return this year, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like defense. To me, when you look like what should they do well, I still think it's like rim pressure, on offense. Like I think bully ball. Like you've got Randall, you've got Terrence Shannon, who didn't play well against the Lakers, but he suits that kind of mold. Jalen Clark's a bit of a bully, even offensively. Like he's not a great offensive player, but he's got that like
might not put it in the bucket, but he'll bully.
Yeah. Like Rudy is obviously not a bully, but he's huge. Jaden is massive and wants to get downhill, wants to get to
they have the mentality to be good at that. It's just they don't finish it as often as they need to.
That might be what they're the best at, like as in like that might be, if you're thinking a top 5 list of all these things for all the different teams, maybe that's what they're the best at. And it could be, I guess, it could be perimeter defense if Clark like started or something, but I can see why that's not the case. Like, I don't know.
I feel like
you can be a good team. Yeah. You can be a good team being good at like good, average to good at a lot of things, and they are. They're not going to be a bad defense. They're not going to be a bad.
Well, we're
offense.
Critical of this team through 2 games. Like I know it's 2 games.
Yeah,
but we're critical because this, they're back-to-back Western Conference Finals. It's a championship or bust type of mindset. Anthony Edwards said it himself. So like we're going to be critical when they're 15th in the league or something.
I think the problem why I kind of am seeing, I think today or last night, a bit more pissed offness than usual for 2 games, because I'm pretty happy to write off the Lakers game as like, you got messed up by Luka. Like we've seen Ant do it to teams, good teams, bad teams. Like it can happen. And the start of the season is weird. I said that last week. Anyone can beat anyone. I feel like, for the first few weeks, the Wizards are winning games. The Jazz, opening night, or the Jazz blew someone out. I can't remember who it was, but they were a decent team. Like Memphis got absolutely blown out last night. Like it's a weird start to the season. Everyone's scoring 50 points every day. But I think why people are pissed off maybe is because we kind of knew all of this coming into the season.
Well, continuity, man. It was the big word of the offseason. They're supposed
continuity,
to start out.
And continuity has played out in the wrong way, where it's like, all of the problems from last season are still problems.
It's the same team, which is a problem.
Yeah. And all the things that we were worried about that might get worse, like Conley or like Gobert or like, Dillingham not being ready because he didn't get minutes last season. Like all of those things have played out to the 100th percentile. So, I do think, I don't want to stress, because I think in 2 weeks we could be like, look, all these things are still problems, but the good things are better now as well. The good things aren't really working at the moment, which makes it feel worse.
I don't think either of us are on here. Like this is a negative podcast, but it's in a way that's like we're pointing out just like what we're like. It's not either of us being like they're going to win 35 games. Like I still think they're going to win 48 to 50. But
exactly.
Right now they've got things to fix.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree. I don't want to be too negative. So I do want to say, I guess I'll say a few things. Is like Ant's been awesome. I think Randall's been really, really good. Like his defense was a little bit whack in that Lakers game, but I mean everyone's was like they're still worse statistically when he's off the court, on the court defensively, which has been a theme. But like as a second option, I just feel like he has definitely settled into that role. We spoke about that last week, I think, that he we want him to settle into that second option. It doesn't have to be 15 points a night, but if they need him to score 25, he can do it. If they need him to be a playmaking hub, he can do it. And he just kind of complements Ant, not in a way, like not in a two-man game kind of way, but in a way that like when the things that Ant doesn't do, or the times that Ant needs to take a break or do something, sit in the corner for a possession, Randall picks up the slack offensively. I think that's been true. Like I think he's been awesome.
His shot making, man, it's been outstanding.
If he makes threes, he's a very good player.
I mean, yeah, if he's able to shoot 39, 40%, he's all NBA, like third team, like straight up. I mean, it's a completely different player. So I don't expect him to shoot, what's he right, 55% or something right now? Like it's unbelievable. Obviously, I don't expect that, but yeah, if he can consistently shoot 40% and just be that second best player here on the team, they're going to be just like their floor is going to be raised so much. So
yeah,
that's huge.
And yeah, and that's what's kind of weird is that I don't think it's been like a fully negative start, but there's not that many other positives,
right. It's just like the positives are what we expected. It's Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle mainly.
Yeah, Jaden was good offensively the first night. I thought his usage, like the way they used him, was really good. The kind of getting him on the ball a little bit more. Even the start of that Lakers game, I thought, oh, this is cool. Like Jaden's doing the thing that he did in the playoffs, where
first quarter was overall good. Like Luka killed him. They had a good first quarter.
Yeah, and he made Luka fight on the other end. I mean, that's a definite annoyance of mine. Is like Luka had 4 fouls in like the third quarter, and I don't think they attacked him once more. And they do a good job of like making sure Luka does nothing defensively.
Yeah, I mean the playoff series was good. They made him wore down like every game. I thought last year. But
yeah, it was Jaden. It was like if you defend Jaden, he's gonna score 30 points.
Right.
And you can't win if Jaden McDaniel scores 30 points, and Randall and Ant aren't like playing terribly. So I thought last night they went away from it. I just thought they let go of the rope.
It seemed like a case of like Ant went for 18. He had a lot of points in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like a case. We saw this sometimes with like Julius last year, where one player will have a really, really hot start, and the other players don't exactly settle in with their own starts behind him, and it just kind of falls on the player or the shoulders of like one or two players. And if Anthony Edwards can't score 45, then the offense might not click for the rest of all game. It's not like the offense was terrible. I mean, the defense is completely to blame. It got clunky after that first quarter for sure.
Yeah, and I thought of like fight. I thought they gave up a little bit in the second half because he just was like crushing them, and every time they tried to get up, he just trying to put his foot back on their neck.
Like...
yeah. Well, when you're sitting there watching it, you can kind of understand where it's like, oh my God, like no matter what we do, he's going to make a play. He's going to draw a foul. He's going to taunt us after it. He's going to play to the crowd like the crypto.com arena or whatever it's called these days is, in raptures. Like it was, again, as someone who likes to watch Luka Dončić, the basketball player and not the personality, it was like, I don't know how you beat this when he's on like that. So apart from let Ant do the same, I mean, I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, hey, can we go Ant? Like, can we get not these possession, not these 4-minute stretches where Ant touches it twice?
Yeah.
Because Luka's touching it on every single possession. Every single possession is how do we get Luka an easier bucket? How do we, use his gravity to create an assist for him? And they don't have to be like, the cross-court dimes that he throws. Like, it can just be like, how do we get Austin Reeves, man, to double him so he can pass it to Reeves right next to him and attack a closeout? Like, I just felt like, and I know Finch doesn't want to play that way with Ant, but also sometimes I'm watching it and I'm like, maybe we should. Like, and is just, he feels like he's getting to that level like we spoke about earlier, where it's like, he can just control the game offensively, but I still feel like they're holding just a little bit back on being like, can you be Luka? Can you be Shea? Can you be Harden? 2016, like,
which is crazy considering our entire conversation about the point guard position. So I mean, it's
like, and there's more of it this season. His usage rate is up than it, higher than
it's
it
not
usually
like that's
is,
a negative for sure, but
but it's still about 8 or 9% usage lower than like Shea and Luka, who are the main two every season. So it's like I wouldn't be surprised if that just creeps up if he keeps playing like this.
Yeah, it should. I mean, makes sense. I guess any other big topics you've got written down for these first couple games here?
No. I think we kind of hit on all the main points for now. Like we keep saying, it's such a small sample size that we just need to see a little bit more. Like they could beat Indiana, Denver back to back, Sunday, Monday, and we'll be on here, saying how good they are. Like they'd go 4-0 next week and everything clicks, and that wouldn't be that much of a surprise. Like they can still have a point guard problem, a backup center problem. They turn the ball over too much still, and they can still win those 4 games because they do have the requisite talent to do so. And they've proven before that they can get on a run and kind of wallpaper over those cracks. So I'm kind of expecting that, like maybe not 4 wins in a row, but like I'm expecting them to be better next week.
Yes, and I'm going to make an executive choice here, considering there's a game tomorrow, and I am running low on energy anyway. Let's just pick the games quickly here, since we're going to pick them all and not a separate episode with that. How's that sound?
Yeah, okay. Do you want to go the full week?
Yeah, let's go through Saturday, because I think we'll probably record next Saturday after the game. Depending, right, it's a pretty early one, right. So...
I'm going to write these down as you say them. So they're playing Indiana, then they're playing Denver.
Yep, then Lakers, and then Hornets.
Where is Denver?
Denver is Minneapolis, Target Center.
Okay.
National TV.
And then, sorry, who was it in the one after that?
Sorry, Lakers, also in Minnesota.
And then the Hornets final game is the Hornets. All right. At some point, one of us is going to have to pick a loss.
Dude, I was just thinking, I don't really know.
Losses after 45 minutes of bagging the team. I don't see a loss. All right, I'm gonna fire these off. All right, I'm gonna go win versus Indiana, loss versus Denver, loss versus LA, win versus Charlotte.
Okay. I also agree. Win versus Indiana. I think that's going to be very similar to Portland, where they're just not a good team, but they're feisty as hell, and they're going to keep it close. But Minnesota's talent is just going to win out. Nuggets, man, like they don't lose the Nuggets, but back to back.
At some point, they're going to have to lose a game to the Nuggets, surely.
No, that's where I'm going with this. Actually, they're going to lose that game to the Denver Nuggets, and we're all going to freak out. But I can't go 4-0 here, man. We just went 50 minutes on how much we hate this team. So that's the
yeah. And it's a back-to-back. The Denver don't play the day before either. So.
Yep. Okay. It's at home. Is that the home? No, home and opener is the day before. So yeah, there is going to be a hell of a letdown Monday evening. And then Wednesday, Lakers. They're going to beat the Lakers. They're going to bounce back. I don't have much analysis here. Luka's not going to score 50, or he will, and they'll lose. But right now, I'm picking a win. So, and then I've also got a win versus the Hornets. So I've got a 3-1 week.
Yeah.
Nothing to say about the Hornets.
I've got a 2-2, which I think would be fine as well. Like, yeah, I think it's okay. Like, we all want the continuity to show up straight away, and I think it should be showing up more than it is. But I'm going to try not to let myself get over the cliff here in terms of like the season's over. They're not playing well straight away, because it is the continuity can not work like it should, and they could still. Just because if they don't start well, it doesn't mean they also can't be better during the season. Like they can do what they did last season and still be good. So, I don't think a 2-2 week is that bad. It's a tough kind of week. Like the back-to-back, Indiana's a tough matchup.
Yeah,
the Lakers just slapped them, and then Charlotte, they probably need to win that.
You got to win the Charlotte game.
Yeah, you got to win one of the Denver Indiana games, I think.
I agree, and I think you got to win the Indiana game, because I don't think you're winning that Denver game. Hopefully,
and you can't get like slapped by drop coverage Luka again. Like, I think you can try. You got to adjust. Yeah. You can try something different, and he still plays well, and that'd be normal. But they come out and Rudy's sitting at the free throw line. I might just turn it off and go do something else.
Pacers are missing Nembhard, right? Am I? I think
Nemhard.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's out for sure, but I think he's
I just saw he was
trending
out the
that
other
way.
day. So
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
no
he's
Hallie,
in my
no
fantasy.
Nemhard.
He's in my fantasy team.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great pick, man. I mean,
yeah. He lasted like 3 minutes into the first game. I mean, obviously they did it last season, but just because they beat Minnesota last season with nobody, that doesn't mean they should do it again.
That should be an outlier.
Yeah, exactly. So
if I see Obi Toppin going nuts, is he still on that? He's still on that team, right?
Yeah, he is. Unfortunately,
I don't know why he wouldn't be, but
they didn't. If they're not going to play Rob, they should send him out there to
the Pacers are one of those teams I shouldn't write them off this year, but like the Hallie injury, man, it's just like they're not nearly as fun of a watch. So I'm like,
they're going to be one of those teams. I feel like that they could beat any team on any given night, but they're going to win like 36 games.
Portland,
yeah. So, and we saw that was hard, but again, they're not as good defensively.
That Portland game went exactly as I thought it was going to go. Like possession for possession.
I loved it. I loved it
too.
so much. Like I know it was like dumb watching those dumb turnovers.
If you go into a game expecting it to be just gross like that, though, it's
I love teams that just love to play in the mud. Like that's what I loved about that Wolves team a couple of years ago. That it was just like. Yeah, like the Western Conference Finals team, like they would just win 97-90 every game.
That's fair too. Yeah.
And it was
Pat
like
was the first taste at any sort of winning, and it was just that guy being
Well, that team I love
insane.
But it was more like I think good teams that just win on defense, and they're not going to win the championship because they, don't play offense. But I like that kind of brand of basketball, which this team right now is not.
Yeah. But they could play with those teams because, like, the Wolves, when someone punches them in the face and it's not like an offensive punch, I don't know. They seem to roll with it a little bit better than when it's Luka just making every shot.
Yeah. And we saved this to the end, so it's not salty. The refereeing was effing horrible last night. Like, and I rewatched it. I try and comment on anything only after I've rewatched it. Sometimes I'll send out a tweet or two or three or four during the game.
I already deleted like 4 tweets this year to send out mid game.
But when I rewatch it later on, I can I get a better takes on things. And even on the second rewatch, where I'm normally like more sympathetic with referees, it was ridiculously bad. Like the amount of shit that Austin Reeves gets to do, like how
the flopping this year, it's worse than ever.
Do you remember the foul where he just got like poked in the eye or whatever by
Jalen Clark?
He was just Jalen Clark was just standing there, and Reeves just put his face down below Clark's waistline and just headbutted his hand, and they called a foul in the bonus too. That was actually like an important 2 points. They were down by like 6 points at that time.
I remember I reached down to grab my water, and I heard the announcer go, "Oh, he gets poked in the eye," and I looked back up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, 2 free throws." Great.
The ant dunk that they wiped off. The Lakers did the exact same thing probably 6 times in that game. Like they just didn't flop. I got
flashbacks to the Heat dunk that got waved off for it was a different scenario, but like ant dunks getting wiped off for bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like Rudy's got called for like 4 of them in the preseason.
It's because he like flails around when he does it, man. He's not smooth at all. He's like punching the guy in the not really, but he looks, he doesn't know what he's doing with his arms.
Somehow I think the hair was like stopping his dopiness. He's gotten worse with no hair.
He needs to pull the Jaylen Brown. Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh my god, that is so funny. You can't. Surely you would know. I feel like if I knew I had the shoe polish on the dome, I would be really I wouldn't cognizant of wiping my head on things.
Yeah. Hey, my Knicks 2-0. How about that? Oh man, good stuff. I'm sorry. I just love Carl.
All right, So if we get a 3-1 this week, I think that'd be a really good result. A 3-1. I feel like the faith would be back in the team. 4-2.
Yeah.
You've got. I think the schedule is kind of.
If they go 2-2, we'll be on. The next episode will be called Apocalypse or something. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the schedule is light to start the season, but I think it's even lighter after this set of games. Like, I don't think this very first.
It gets really easy.
Yeah, you
kind of want to be Hornets, Nets, Knicks, Jazz, Kings, dude.
I need a bit of that Jazz Kings.
Jazz Kings, Jazz. Oh, ew, that's gonna be ugly, but hopefully fun ugly. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see the listeners, the viewers here next week. After that 3-1 week.
Shout out your channel. Do you do a video after every game? I forget.
I do a video after most games. That I always I haven't really spoke about this. It's hard after a 1-loss sample size because I don't really want to get on their second game of the season and just talk about terrible things. You know?
It's easier to do that for an hour straight on a podcast.
Yeah. And I don't want to get on there and break down a Luka Dončić game about how because that's I
especially on a weekend.
As much as I don't do it for how many people view, I don't also want to just put stuff out there that is not very interesting to Timberwolves fans, after they watched it last night. So normally with losses, I'll wait for 2 in a row or something kind of really, a stretch. I did save all the defensive clips from the last 2 games. And then if they lose to Indiana and it's really bad defensively, I can kind of, it's a theme then. I don't think it's a real massive theme right now to make a video on it. And,
it was the worst defensive performance. That's not, it's got to become a theme for it. It was an outlier for now.
Yeah. So, but after every win, there'll definitely be a video. Sweet. After either in an 82 game season, I'd probably do, 70 videos. I'm pretty close to every
70
game,
wins. You're projecting 70 wins.
But even losses, I will do videos. But it's more the start of the season. It's I need a little bit more to go off before I make a bad video.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's what it's all about. All right, good stuff. We hit an hour. That's awesome. I don't know if we've done that before. So great stuff, Jake. I pushed through. They call me Michael Jordan of podcasting. Yeah. Everyone says that. They are always saying that. It's great. Well, I actually feel great now. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going to crash, but I felt so terrible before hitting record.
And my voice is gone. So.
Oh, look at that. All right. That's it. We're getting out of here. Bye, everyone. See you next week.